Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. I hope that all is going well as we're moving into the end of this year here. And for those of you who are new to Mental Health Moment, thanks for so much for joining. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. For those of you who tune in every single week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome back to Mental Health Moment. And thanks for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Thanks for joining. And today I want to talk to you about, as we wrap up this year here, I've seen a lot of things on Instagram and other social media accounts just basically saying this idea of letting things go, leaving it in this year as we move into the next year, right? You've probably heard it before. But hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Today, we're talking about this idea of letting things go and moving into the new year. But one of the things that I have an issue with a bit when I hear that as a psychologist is that sometimes there's unrealistic expectations about moving into a new year. So, this idea sometimes that you're just going to let everything go, leave it in this year, move on to a new year as if your emotions are a light switch is pretty unrealistic. And hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. So I want to remind you when you hear those things, when you see it, because it's all over social media about letting things go, please understand. And hopefully, if you're not new to Mental Health Moment, you've heard it before. But this is a journey. This is a healing journey. This is a mental health journey that we're all on. So do not beat yourself up if you feel like you're going to try to let it go, if you will, and leave everything in this year as we move into the new year. Because again, I'm going to repeat it, your emotions are not a switch, right? It's not this light switch that you can just turn off and on sometimes. The things that have happened to you, whatever it may be, the experiences that we've all had related to COVID-19, for example, your personal life, stresses, all of those types of things, your emotional connection to them are not a light switch. You can't just turn it off and on. But what you can do, and thanks for those who are still starting to join here, but what you can do is start to allow yourself and give yourself permission to start the process of letting it go. But a lot of times, like I said, I've heard time and time again, it's really bittersweet for me as a psychologist when I think about the end of the year. And I'm all about making goals. You all know that, making goals, writing them down, New Year's resolutions, all those great things, which are good things. But sometimes it's a bit unrealistic to think that just because it's the end of the year, you're going to hurry up and heal all of the wounds, that emotional wounds that you may have had from whatever it is that occurred in your life. It's pretty unrealistic and unfair to you to think that way. But as I mentioned, instead, think about ways to start or continue that process that you're on. And thanks for those who are still starting to join here. I see you guys tuning in from all over here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about this notion of letting it go, which is a good thought. But again, be realistic as we move into this new year. If there's things that you want to try to start letting go. And when you think of letting things go, so a lot of things are stored in our body physically. Our stress can be stored in our bodies, which is why sometimes you may have a headache or a stomach ache or a backache or some type of ache, because that's what stress can do. It can literally physically make you sick sometimes, or mentally it's there, your thoughts, right? You're thinking about something over and over, you're worried about something, you're depressed about something, right? Stress can affect us in different ways. So another thing that I urge you to do, as we again shift into this new year coming up soon, is really to think about how to heal yourself physically and emotionally and mentally. So one of the ways, for example, next week, I'm really excited about it. And some of you may have heard, if you've been tuning into Mental Health Moment, you may have heard this story before. And thanks for those who are still starting to tune in here. But what I love to try different things related to wellness, as if you didn't know. But one of the things I tried a couple years ago, back when I was in Hawaii, was something called sound healing. And some of you may be familiar with it, but it was a very calming and relaxing session that I had with the individual when I was in Hawaii, and such a great experience that I was telling some of my friends about it. And we're going to actually do there's like a group session where you can have this sound healing experience. We're actually going to be doing that next week as we wrap up the end of the year, just to really make sure to work on aligning your energies, if you will, and just sort of being in this meditative state and being in a relaxed state and getting your body and your mind, right, prepared for this new year. Because I don't know, I'm not a psychic, so I don't know what 2022 is going to bring for your life. It could be the most amazing year. It could be a stressful year. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you work on preparing yourself for life, there's a lot of surprises, right? Good and bad. But when you work on preparing yourself for that new year, whatever that may bring for you, again, physically preparing yourself, mentally and emotionally preparing yourself, it makes things a bit easier to process when whatever that situation is occurs. And thanks for those so much who are still starting to tune in here. It's Dr. Hammond. You say you've heard of that? Yeah. So again, and it doesn't have to be sound healing. It can be any sort of wellness technique. It could be yoga. It could be meditation. It could be, maybe some of you like taking a walk, or different physical things that you can do to try to release the stress from your body, which also affects you emotionally and mentally as well, of course. But I know this is Mental Health Moment here. We talk so much about mental health, obviously, and emotionally how you're doing, but also please remember that physical aspect, because again, sometimes the stress gets literally stuck in your body and will manifest in physical ways with the aches and the pains and different sort of diseases and all those sorts of things, which of course we don't want, right? We want to be nice and as healthy as possible. So I want to remind you of that today. And thanks so much for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. Just again, talking about as we transition into this upcoming new year. We talked a week or two ago about, for you, making your self-care goals and your mental wellness goals and what that could look like for you. But also, again, just reminding you all the things you're going to be seeing on social media and in the news about moving into this new year. Make sure that you give yourself grace and that you are realistic with some of your expectations. Because if you set some of your mental wellness goals and you get to the beginning of next year and maybe you're not where you're at, that actually can be okay. Right? Goals are great, but at the same time, I don't want you to ever beat yourself up or get into, the guilt game, or why did this happen or that happen, or not meeting the goals leading to more depression and anxiety, because that's obviously not the point. So again, make sure that it's realistic. Make sure that you have a good, solid team around you, no matter who that could be. It could be family members, friends, coworkers, neighbors, whoever it is that supports you. If you say, Dr. Hammond, I don't have anyone that supports me, that's okay. There's a lot of different resources online, reputable resources online that can help with your mental wellness journey. So be sure to reach out. My website's on here. I'm drnikishahammond.com, and I'm more than happy to get you those resources, as I always tell you all. Or you can reach out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, whatever social media channel you're on. You can reach out to me there as well and send me a direct message, and I will try my best to get the resources for you. Or if you need a mental health professional and that type of support, I can get you that as well. Well, I'll do my best to get you to a good person that can be helpful to you. And someone said set mental health goals. Yes, absolutely. Set mental health goals that are realistic. Make sure that you have your team, a good, again, team around you, because it's a journey. There's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of bumps in the road, but it really helps when there are individuals that can help you in that process. So my strong recommendation is don't try to do this alone. And even if you say, but I'm a private person, Dr. Hammond, I don't like telling people my business. I've heard all those things, which is fine. But just know, even a mental health professional, for example, most things are confidential that you tell this person, with a few exceptions. So they're not there to be telling your mother, brother, sister, your friends, or whomever else, right? It's a private conversation. So if you need to take that route, be sure to do that. Or again, maybe you have just a few close people that you trust. Make sure you reach out to them. There's so many apps right now that are helpful. I just finally, I think, well, anyhow, I started using an app myself that does mindfulness, like once a day. I believe it's once a day for 1 minute, just really focusing in on breathing, making sure to just take, I mean, it's 60 seconds, right? Everybody has 60 seconds in their day, but it's like a reminder, like, buzzes on my watch, like make sure you take your minute and do your deep breathing and just take that time to refocus and reset. So if you want to use an app like that, there's a lot of different ways to really help in this journey. There's so many ways, actually. So we've been talking about that, obviously, on mental health moments. But again, today's purpose, I want to remind you of this notion of letting it go and being realistic in your expectation of that. And thanks so much for tuning in here. Yes, thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Yes, this is actually, I'm glad you guys brought that up. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, this is the last mental health moment on a Tuesday before Christmas. So yes, I wish, again, those of you who celebrate Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas as well. I will be, I'll actually be in Florida this year for Christmas. So it'll be nice to just get together, have some downtime and celebrate. My son, of course, is very excited. He's 9 years old. So he's still super excited about Santa and all that Christmas has to offer. As well as giving back to others, which is something that I stress a lot with him, because he's blessed to be a blessing to other kids and to other people as well. So that's something I strive to make sure that he recognizes in this season of receiving a whole bunch of gifts. Also, make sure you're giving back to other people, right? Very important for the kids to know too. And also another quick announcement. If you're new to Mental Health Moment, you might not know, but every first Tuesday of the month, so obviously it will be in January, but every first Tuesday of the month is going to be devoted specifically, speaking of children, to children's mental health, because there's a lot happening in the world of youth and their mental health. Unfortunately, there's a lot that's happened. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of anxiety, and especially with COVID-19 and everything that has happened, it hasn't helped that situation. So as a reminder, the first Tuesday of every month will be devoted specifically to children's mental health. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing those tips that day, please be sure to invite them to that. Even if they don't have kids, if they work with kids, be sure to invite them to that as well. And thanks so much for your Merry Christmas wishes. Same to you all who celebrate. But again, I will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page and LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. If you need me before then, be sure to reach out, drnikishahammond.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, any social media platform. You can be sure to connect on there. And I'm happy to answer any of your questions if you have them. I can't do specific questions or specific medical advice, of course, but any questions related to your resources that you need or referrals, I'm more than happy to help you with those. But again, have a wonderful Christmas for those of you who celebrate, and I will see you all next week, same time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So take care. I'll see you next time.